today. The big idea from last week's class was the idea of a production possibilities curve in which we take what a country does with its resources. Are they maximizing their resources, using 100% of them, using less than 100%? How would they get to use more than 100%? And that was the guns versus butter. And so I'll review everything there. I'll review the 3 areas that you need to know for that. A lot of questions on process still. I sent out an email to each of you and all of your parents that are signed up in conjunction with your account. When you go to Adminum and log in through Clever, you need to do that in the internet browser, Internet Explorer. If you do it in Chrome or Firefox or another one, it's not going to save your work. You're going to go through, you're going to enter things in. If it does let you save or click save, it's not going to be there when you come back. So you need to make sure that you're using the right browser. I sent out an email on that. You can wait and I'll show you which logo that is as well. But if you're not using that, you're going to be wasting your time. We'll play an online review game together today. Your first unit test is going to be open after this class period. There's 40 questions. As I alluded to last week, once you get into that assessment, you cannot get out of it. So don't open another tab, don't minimize your browser, don't do anything except take that test. Left-hand side of your screen, there will be a PDF, right? Since it's normally taken, right? Obviously when we're in school, so there'll be a PDF of that. On the right-hand side will be the answer sheet that you'll use to fill that in. So we'll go over the login process for that as well. And then the assignments, and we've talked about that before, but those are still open. So go ahead and open your Canvas homepage. There's some things I want to go. I updated the homepage as well.
What did I miss? Sorry, I was at the bathroom.
I was just going over what we're going to be doing for the class.
Okay.
Okay, so a couple of things. Starting next Tuesday, tutoring is going to be available 3:30 to 5:30 on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So that tab is there. This will take you to that Zoom link for the tutoring where you can get on. So any of your tutoring needs, that will be open. Just click on that picture there, and that'll be available starting the 15th. The second thing, and I've said this, and I talked about it last week, I'll say it again this week, and I'll probably say it again next week. Everything that we have done from the first week, August 17th, through the second week, August 24th, through last week, August 31st was Monday. All of those items there, you can see all the assignments are still open, all right? Nothing has been marked late. Nothing has been closed where you can't. You can see our first couple of assignments, right? Still available until Friday. You had assignments due today. You've got a test that you have to take by next week, but it's available until the 18th. So a number of things there that we've done that are still available to you. Same thing with scarcity and opportunity costs and economic systems and Edmentum. So all of those things are still available. You can still turn those in. This class, period 3 is not too bad. Period 1, not doing so well. 11 students in danger there. So make sure that you're keeping up on your work and turning that in. Everything is, as I said, is straight points. So when you miss points, you are not helping your percentage. The second thing that I wanted to point out, and I went over this as well, but when you go to your learning modules, remember If you get an error message, I got a couple of emails about that. If you get an error message about not being able to enter in a particular module or a particular module is locked, that is because you cannot go from week 1 to week 2 without finishing week 1. And you can't go to week 3 until you finish week 1 and week 2. And you can't finish, right, week 3 till you do 1 and 2. Week 4, 1, 2, and 3. Those will all be listed there. And so I showed you this last week, but remember to go through your week's module. All you have to do is go through and complete everything that we've done. So this was the Go Formative presentation. You still need to go through this, all right, and then click Next. So when you get through everything, you come down here, click Next. This was the Edmentum login information and how you do that. Click Next there. It says, look, how to access online resources and programs for the class. In order to complete Module 1, make sure you've done your Canvas, your Formative, your YouTube channel, and Edmentum. And then click Next. Once you do that, it'll take you to the second module or the next module that you have. But you need to make sure that you've done that. If you don't, you're not going to get through, and it's not going to let you. It's going to say that it's locked. The other thing to remember is if you miss anything, you can go to the YouTube channel. You can see this morning's class period is already up. Previous class periods from last week are up. You can go back, review anything that you need there in terms of information. Any questions so far? Okay, we had one more join. That's good. We're still missing 2. Last week, most important thing we talked about was this idea of a production possibilities curve. So production possibilities curve is a representation, and we talked about this last week, but basically it is looking at a math graph. Let me change colors, it'll be easier to see. So all this is just a quarter of a math graph. So you're going to have your y and your x-axis. That point there is the origin or a value of 0, 0. We had 3 areas. Let me get it in a color you can see. So we had area 1 represented by the point A. We had area 2 represented by the curve. And we had area 3 that's represented by point X. All right, represented by point X. So we had 3 areas. And we'll go over this together. But we had 3 areas, right? We had an area inside the curve where we have underutilization. Area 2, which is the frontier where we have our maximum amount of resources being used. And we have area 3, which is a future production possibilities area. So looking at that, if we look at area 1, Natalie, is that equal to, less than, or greater than 100%? So if we take a look at area 1 or point A, is that equal to, less than, or greater than 100%?
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
I think it's less than.
It is less than. That is absolutely correct. Natalie, you still with us?
Yes.
Okay. So, Natalie, you take the curve BDC, area 2. Is that equal to, less than, or greater than 100%?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. The curve that's represented by the blue line BDC, is that curve represent equal to 100%, less than 100%, or greater than 100%?
Less than?
So as we get, let me draw this for you. As we get to, right, as we get to the origin, the numbers get smaller, right? Because the origin is 0, 0. So if area 1 is less than 100%, this curve BDC would be what? If we take this curve right here, right?
Greater than?
Greater than would be, right? We've got 3 areas, right? Area 1 is less than. We have this area here, and we have this area here. So if you've got 2 choices, greater than 100% or equal to 100%, area 2 would be what? Area 2 is going to be equal to 100%.
Area 2 is BDC, right?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
So then point X, all right, is going to be greater than 100%. So let me give you the reasoning why, since it's a little bit harder. So we've got 3 areas. Let me get my highlighter. I think there's a highlighter in here somewhere. Okay. So, right, you've got this area 1, and this area 1 includes everything in this area. That is closest to the origin right there. And so because it's closest to the origin, so anywhere in this area, right? Anywhere in this area where it says point A, anywhere inside that curve is closest to this point here, which is 0, 0. So we know that point A has got to be less than 100%. We've got 3 areas, right? Equal to, greater than, less than. Now, when we take a look at the curve is the greatest possible, right, amount of resources that can be used. We know, right, because it says that's the maximum. Maximum is 100%. So maximum is 100%. That would be area 2, which would be represented by the curve BDC. And then if you take a look at anywhere outside of that curve, for example, point X, area 3, there are a couple of different things that would happen, that would need to happen for it to be greater than 100%. You would need more people. If you had more workers, you could create more goods and services. If you had more resources, you could create more goods and services. Or you could have an increase in technology. If you could produce something faster, like they did during the Industrial Revolution, you could create more of something. So there's 3 areas in a production possibilities curve. Area closest to, and this is how I keep track of it in my mind. All right. You have an area closest to the origin. anywhere in area 1. You have an area here that's farther away. It's represented by BDC. That's equal to 100. And then you have an area out here that has no limit, right? It's an open area out here without any diagrams or values. That's future production possibilities. You need an increase in population, an increase in resources, or an increase in technology, or you're never going to be able to create more than you already do.
So the inside of the curve is what's available, and the curve is the maximum, and the outside is possibility.
The inside of the curve is underutilization, meaning you're not using 100%. So if you had $10 in your wallet and you only spend 8, you're not spending 100% of your money.
Okay.
If area 2 would be if you had $10 in your wallet and you spent 10, that's the frontier. That's as much money as you can spend. Area 3, to get out to area 3, to spend more than $10, I got to have more than $10 in my wallet. So I'd either have to sell something, make more money, ask friends or mom or dad or relatives for money. That's the only way you're getting out to there. Any other questions? Those are good. Okay. So in your internet browser, go ahead and open up another tab. I'm going to send you the review game that we'll do together.
What's the first tab?
First tab should have been your Canvas homepage.
Oh.
So in the chat down at the bottom, I'm going to send the review. Whoops. I didn't copy right. Son of a gun. Let's see if I got it this time. Perfect. So if you go into your open tab, type in kahoot.it, it'll ask you for a game pin. That game pin is 955-8510, and you can join the review game. We're going to review Unit 1. It's also up on your screen there if you're still in the Zoom box. Then you'll fill in a name.
Hey, Gargak. I mean, Gargak.
Grok.
Grok. Tutoring's next week, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we work on my homework together today after school?
After this class period, we can. I've got another period, though.
Oh, no, after, like, school, though.
Well, just hang on at the end of this Zoom, and we'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, one more to get on. All right, here we go. So you'll choose the best answer as quickly as possible. So what is a tangible product? What is a tangible product?
It's kind of hard with the Zoom thing because you have to go back and forth.
Well, just keep the one tab because you should still hear my voice. So keep the one tab of this open, of the Kahoot open. Remember, a tangible product is something that you can hold in your hand, so it's a good, right? A service would be something like you get your hair done at a salon, you get your hair cut at a barber shop, etc. All right, that Juan in the lead. Okay, what is required for survival? Something that's required for survival is what? There you go. A need. Very good. A need is required for survival. Ooh, got some movers uppers. All right, a plumber provides what? A plumber provides what? Plumber provides a service. Plumber provides a service. Oh, new leader. Had Amari right up to first. All right, a luxury car, an example of what? Luxury car is an example of what? Luxury car is a want. Luxury car is a want. All right, all goods, products, and resources are scarce. Is that true or false? It's true. Remember, everything in this world is scarce. Right now, if we had the capability, we could count every person alive. We could count every gallon of water in the oceans. We could count every oxygen molecule. Everything is scarce. So it doesn't matter how it's worded. All goods, products, and resources are always going to be scarce. No exception. Oh, look at that. You're really now at first. Most valuable good or service given up in an economic decision is what? Okay. Opportunity cost. Most valuable good or service given up in an economic decision is opportunity cost. So
Dang it, that was my first choice.
let's say that you have $5 you're going to pick between Subway and McDonald's. If you pick Subway, that's what your economic decision was. Your cost was McDonald's. So that, another new leader, Myra. A couple of you hit 4 in a row. The good or service obtained through an economic decision is known as what? This is what you choose. Go into a store, you buy something, what you get in return for your money, what would that be referred to as?
I accidentally pressed the wrong thing.
Opportunity benefit is correct. And that, Myra holding on the lead. All right. Another alternative given up in an economic decision is a trade-off, right? Another alternative given up is an economic decision, a trade-off. So if you spent your $5 at Subway, your second choice was McDonald's. If your third choice would have been Chick-fil-A, Little Caesars, those would be the trade-offs. With that, Natalie moving up. Sam up to fourth. All right, here we go. Man-made decisions can cause what in the market? Shortage, right? Man-made decisions can cause a shortage in the market. Myra, streak at 8, up at the top. All right, entrepreneurs take the greatest risk in a market economy by producing the goods. True, right? Entrepreneurs are the ones that take the risk. And that, Aubrey moving up. Myra with 9 in a row. If water is used in a chemical reaction for a product, it can be described as a natural what? Resource, right? If water is used in a chemical reaction for a product, it could be described as a natural resource.
Right? Yeah. What's the one for one? Is it like
All right, timber would be what type of factor of production? Land. Land.
I thought you meant like the website Tinder.
What'd you say, Sam?
I thought you meant like the website.
Nope. Money used to produce a good or service is what type of factor of production? Capital, right? Money used to produce a good or service is an example of capital. Any finished good or service used to help make another good or service is capital. Uh-oh, look at that. Streak at 8 and Amari up to first. Workers in a factory are what type of factor of production? Workers in a factory. Labor. Labor, right? And there's two types of labor, human and machine. Nice. There's only one type of capital, physical. Is that true or false? That is false. There's more than one type of capital. A decision matrix should be used for small and large decisions. True or false?
What's a decision matrix?
Something for large decisions. Write down the pros and cons, buying a house, buying a car. I'll show you an example when this is over. Choices in a decision matrix are alternatives. That is true. Aubrey with a streak of 9. Decision matrix should be used for what kind of purchases? Large. All right, the categories in the decision matrix are called what? Criteria. The criteria that you base your decision on. You're buying a car, what color do you want? You're buying a car, how much room do you want? You want a truck, SUV, a car? Consumers and businesses both use decision matrices to make large decisions. That is true. The line on a production possibilities curve that shows maximum use of resources. Frontier, right? That's area 2. The line on a production possibilities curve that shows the maximum use of resources was, right? And if you're looking at this, right, was that curve right there. Was that curve. Any production inside the possibilities curve, that would be point A. Underutilization. Area 1 is underutilization. Area 2 where the curve is at is your frontier. A country's allocation of resources for production is known as what versus what? Guns versus butter. There we go. How well resources are being used, best described as what? Efficiency. Natalie moving up. Adamari, Ureli, that. Last question. Any production outside of possibilities curve is equal to what? This would be point X. More than 100%, right? That area outside the curve is more than 100%. Okay, so a couple of things. One, and I'll share this with you. Bring it up. A decision matrix for large purchases would look something like this. So in large purchases, something like a house, something like a car, something that's going to be a few $1,000s or more, you would want to do what's called a decision matrix. So let's say that you're interested in getting a vehicle, a brand new car. And you went and looked at, say, a Camry, a Civic, an Altima, and a Focus. You could rank those things based on this criteria, right? Gas mileage, number of passengers it holds, trunk size, and price. You could fill in the information there, right? In each of these columns, and then you could rank those based on how they are. And so when you look at that, right? When you look at that, you could do miles per gallon, seats, engine size, price, and you could rank which one is best for you, right? So best gas mileage is generally a 1, right? We've got 2 at the 1. Next best is a Focus. So you could rank these. These would all be 1s, right? Trunk size, the bigger the trunk size, the more you can carry. So that would be a 1, that would be a 1. This would be a 2, this would be a 3. And then price, probably the cheaper the better. So that would be a 1. That would be a 2. This would be a 3. This would be a 4. And when you add those up, right? Here we've got a total of 9. Here we've got a total of 6. Here we've got a total of 6. Here we've got a total of,
We can't see it.
Try it again. Here we've got a total of 7. Okay? So right here we have the Civic and the Altima as the 2 best examples, right? The 2 best examples of cars based on the criteria that we chose. Now, when you look at this, right, you look at this, one is almost $3,000, $3,400 cheaper than the other model. So the reason that you would do a matrix on a big purchase like this is because you pick the things that are important to you: passenger, trunk size, price, gas mileage. The only difference between these 2 vehicles appears to be the price and the trunk size. So if you can deal with 0.3 cubic feet less space in the trunk, you'll save yourself $3,000. So that's why people and businesses will do a decision matrix. So that's what that is. Any questions on that? Okay. So last thing, and I need to show you how that will work, is your assessment. So when you go through the week 4 module, remember that each module is a prereq for the next one. So you have to, before week 2 will open, you have to complete 1. Before 3 will open, you have to complete 1 and 2. Before 4 will open, you have to do 1, 2, and 3. Now, when you get there, this will be the same as your module. We did the Kahoot together. We reviewed the production possibilities curve. There is a link to practice the review game that we just did as many times as you want. There's also a short video, right, that we saw the first 6 minutes of, that you can watch as many times as you want. There's also, right, the videos that we have from each of the class meetings up on the YouTube channel that I put up for this class. So if you click on the extension on the home page, right, all of the YouTube class meetings we've had are up, and you can use that to review as well. So if you click this link, it's going to take you to a page. You can put in this PIN number. If it's on a mobile device, you'll have to download the app, but you can do the review game that we just did together as many times as you want. That'll be open, I think, until the 14th. Once you're done with that, if you want to watch the video that reviews stuff from Unit 1, it's about 12 minutes and 30 seconds long. We watched roughly half of that together. But if you want to review all of Unit 1, you can watch that as many times as you want. Once you get there, you're going to get to this part here. As I alluded to last week and told you at the beginning, the assessment is the only thing that you're going to do this next week, and the only new thing that you have to do this week. If you click on this link, it is going to take you to a site, and it's going to ask you for your username and your password. Your username is going to be your 6-digit ID. Your password is going to be your tablet or network password. So for example, let me bring up somebody from period 1. So you can see what it really looks like. So you click on that link, you're going to put in your 6-digit ID number. So let's say that's your 6-digit ID number. Then you're going to put in your network password or your tablet password. They both should be the same. Once you put that in, it'll sign you in. Then you're going to get a box that looks like this. So this is for Cole, first period. You're going to go to Take Assessments. When you go to Take Assessments, you'll see that the Econ 1 there will be ready and open. If I click on that on the left-hand side, it's going to bring up the questions here. On the right-hand side, you're going to fill in the answers.
Do we do that now or later?
You do that whenever you can finish all 40. If you exit out now, right, or you do anything else until you know that you can complete it, it's going to lock your score and you won't be able to get back in. You have one shot to do it. So don't do anything with your tab. Don't do anything with your browser. Don't minimize or open anything else. If you do, you're going to be screwed. So that is how you, and it'll tell you, if you leave, you're going to be unactivated. So that there is going to be open and available to you basically today, right? Due by the 14th, it'll be available till the 18th. So if you don't do it by the 14th, it's going to show up as a 0, even though you can still turn it in. So you have to go through the module. There'll be a box down here. It'll say this session for this tool is expired. Please reload the page to do again. That's because I opened it up. If I click on that, it'll take you the same thing, or you can click on that. It does not matter. Any questions on that? Your 6 digits student number goes right there where it says username. Password is your tablet's password or your network password, both the same thing.
How many questions are there?
40.